The pick is in.
With the number 42 pick, the New York Jets select Mason Taylor, LSU tight end, presented by LinkedIn. Here to break this down with me is John Butchko, the host over at Locked On Jets. And John, Jets double down on offense. They go Armand Membo in the first round. Mason Taylor now the pick in the second round. Tight end selection for New York. How do you like it?
You know, I think it would be an understatement to say tight end was an area of need for the New York Jets. Heading into the draft, their number one tight end was Jeremy Ruckert, who was a third-round pick from 3 years ago. And Ruckert has not even really developed into a tight end, too. The Jets lost Tyler Conklin in free agency to the Chargers. So there was really just kind of a black hole entering the draft. I don't think it's a surprise that the Jets drafted a tight end early on. And they also needed to improve their pass-catching group. I mean, one of the challenges heading into this draft is the Jets had two huge needs on the offensive side of the ball. They needed a right tackle. And for that reason, Armand Membu, I think, was an obvious pick on day one. But they also needed to upgrade their pass-catching group because I mentioned this on my Friday show on Locked On Jets. Breece Hall was probably the second best pass catcher on the offense heading into night two of the draft, out behind Garrett Wilson. And Breece Hall's a running back. Breece Hall's a good receiving back out of the backfield. But when your second best pass catcher is a running back, that's an issue. So I don't think it's a surprise at all to see the Jets go tight end in the second round.
How do you feel like this will help others like Garrett Wilson and this Jets offense? You know, obviously this is about, for New York, you bring in Justin Fields. It's about surrounding him and giving him the best opportunity. What does this do for the outlook of the Jets offense for 2025?
Well, there are going to be opportunities because Garrett Wilson is the focal point of the offense. So he'll have a very heavy target share. But being the focal point of the offense means you're also going to be the focal point of opposing defensive game plans. And it opens up opportunities for, you know, even as a rookie, Taylor's going to have opportunity. You know, Taylor's probably going to be the number one tight end from week one going forward because just don't have anybody else at the position. So, you know, there are going to be opportunities for him to, you know, play get matched up against single coverage. And I think the Jets we're also looking for kind of like a big target who's going to be reliable on short routes. Taylor is a pretty crafty route runner. He's kind of nuanced when it comes to, you know, finding the open spots on the field. So there are going to be plenty of opportunities for him. And the Jets needed to find somebody else who could produce in the passing game outside of Garrett Wilson.
And I now know with this Jets team, there are still other opportunities to add. Where do you think the Jets look for now that you have two offensive picks on the board?
I think they might keep going on offense. Now, you know, once you get to the third round, you know, I think the deeper you get into the draft, the less it's about need and the more it's just about finding quality players. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets went with a defensive tackle in the third round. But if you look at like the relative strength of the two units, the defense had stronger personnel heading into the draft. So there were a couple of needs. I mean, like I said, they could use a defensive tackle. The safety group could stand to be upgraded, but pass catching group's still pretty thin. You know, you just added Taylor into Garrett Wilson, but right now, Allen Lazard's the number 2 wide receiver. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the Jets go wide receiver in round 3.
For continuing coverage of the New York Jets, subscribe to Locked On Jets wherever you get your podcasts. And for more on Mason Taylor, let's hear from Locked On LSU, who spent a lot of time covering Mason Taylor up close.
Mason Taylor could be the biggest sleeper among the LSU prospects in this draft class. I'm Matt Moscona from Locked On LSU. Most people know Mason Taylor's pedigree, the son of Pro Football Hall of Famer Jason Taylor. What you may not know is that he arrived at LSU in 2022 unheralded, a 3-star weighing 230 pounds. But as a 3-year starter, Mason Taylor built his body into a 6'5", 250-pounder, which is the prototype hybrid tight end in today's NFL. An athletic pass catcher and a physical point-of-attack blocker. Mason Taylor leaves LSU as the program's all-time leader among tight ends in receptions and receiving yards. He may not be Tyler Warren or Colston Loveland, but Mason Taylor can certainly be a quality pro for whatever team selects him in this year's NFL draft. For more, you can subscribe to Locked On LSU wherever you get podcasts.